The South African government confirms with deep sadness the tragic passing of a South African citizen in West Virginia in the United States of America. The Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Mr. Ronald Lamola, has extended condolences to the bereaved family during this profoundly difficult time.
Gold's trading at $3,356.87 an ounce. The rand's at 17.89 to the dollar, at 24.17 to the pound, at 20.39 to the euro. Brent crude oil's at $64.66 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident heading towards Spruit View along the N3 South, just before Leondale Road. It's causing heavy delays coming out of Heidelberg Road. There's also slow-moving traffic in Crown City along the M2 West, as well as Main Reef Road in and out of the area. Please be on the lookout there.
A look at your weather. Clear skies in Gauteng this afternoon. Temperatures are peaking at highs of 20 and 21 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. South Africa's economy grew by a marginal 0.1% in the first 3 months of the year, following an increase of 0.4% in the fourth quarter of 2024.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Choose the 8 kilometer for those walking strong, the 6.7 kilometer in honor of Mandela Month, or the 4 kilometer for families and first timers in 702's Walk the Talk. Tickets on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
9 minutes after 1 o'clock. Welcome to 702 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja, on this Tuesday, the 3rd of June. Welcome to it. We've got something to talk about, and I'm already trying not to laugh because I need to get I need to get out what it is. But I want to hear from all of you today. If you've ever found yourself in a situation where somebody asking for help is being a choosy beggar, I want to hear those stories, and I'll tell you where it all comes from. So somebody asking you for help, it could be a stranger, it could be somebody close to you, but they're becoming a picky beggar, a choosy beggar, because as they say, beggars can't be choosers. What have your experiences been? And under what circumstances should a beggar be able to be choosy? Then our tech feature, we're speaking to Sibongile Maputla, founder and CEO of Squirrel Away, South Africa's first app dedicated to investment gifting. You guys know how I'm all about doing that kind of thing, so I think this is so awesome. Can't wait for that. Our series edition, we're starting something brand new with Momentum Insure, the impact of climate change and severe weather on insurance. This is our first episode in the series, and we'll be talking about understanding and responding to severe weather warnings. Rudolph Britz, chief actuary from Momentum Insure, will join us for that conversation. And then we wrap up with our car feature. Nicol Louw will be in the building. Not only will we open up the lines to all of your technical car issues that you need to ask him on, but we'll also talk about crash analysis of vehicles. We know that's a massive, massive thing within the used cars department. So get in touch with us. 011 883 0702. SMS us 31702. Tweet at Relebogile M at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 Afternoons and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
All right. So I stumbled upon something that really got me, laughing my head off. But it didn't initially come to mind. So a person, Darwin Rev, on TikTok posted a video. And I'm assuming it's a bit of satire. They're doing a little skit. And in the skit, there's a woman sitting inside her car. And there is, she's busy drinking a milkshake while a man's head is sticking inside the window, right? And the caption that she's put there is, how how beggars look at you when you give them 2 rand instead of your entire Big Mac. So this person's face is obviously very overly exaggerated, is inside this vehicle while this person is continuing to have their milkshake, staring at them, implying that I gave this person 2 rands, but they're still staring and waiting, watching me eat because I didn't give them the whole Big Mac. That's not the most exciting part. The most hilarious part are the stories in the comments where people are sharing scenarios of situations where beggars were being choosers. Now, today, when we reference beggars, I'm referring to anybody asking for help, not necessarily a person that is standing at the intersection asking for money. No, we are all beggars in some respects when we ask for help. But they are sharing stories of people being super choosy. So the one person comments to say that this beggar was asking for her apple. She bought him a whole tray of them, and then as she was leaving, he started to sell them in front of her with she Yo, another one says, I once bought him a loaf of bread and he said he only eats sliced bread. So he did not take the bread because he only eats sliced bread. Another one asked for 5 rand and they were on the other opposite side of the road. So the person's like, 5 rand, 5 rand. And then the person's like, Shab, come get the 5 rand. And the person says, no, come bring me the money. Kisa 5 rand yaka is what they say. Another person says, I once bought a guy a plate of food at Checkers. As I was in line to pay, he opened a lunch bar and said, yo, I'm so hungry. And the person was so angry because they clearly hadn't budgeted. Another one says she offered the person Pringles and he said no thanks because Pringles are too salty. And so many of them continue about a person being asked, please can you buy me some soap at the garage? And he'll walk in with her. He goes in with her. Now when they're done getting the soap, this person takes bread, Lay's, Coke, everything and puts them at the till for them to pay. So there are scenarios like that. Sometimes in our personal lives, it is people saying things like, please, can I borrow your car? And then you say, okay, sharp, come and pick it up, fill it up. Then they're like, no, please, can you bring it to me? So what are those scenarios that you've been through where people asking for help, or in the case of the saying, beggars can't be choosers, beggars are being choosy? And under what circumstances should beggars be justified to be picky and choosy? I have been in a situation where a man on the side of the road was begging. It was in the morning. I had packed skaftin, guys, and it was those, those containers that clip and lock. Back then, not like how available they are now. Those clip and lock containers, and I had cooked like a macaroni and mince pasta, and I told myself, okay, get sorted for lunch. At the office, I'm just going to pop it in the microwave and eat. And I saw this man and I felt so bad. So there I am. I give him this kaftin. I give him the macaroni. He basically looked at me and started swearing at me for not giving him money. Guys, do you think I have that container? No, because he threw it. He threw the container because I didn't give him money. Your calls on 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Malachi Organics is making skincare simpler, more effective and proudly natural. Their range is designed to nourish your skin from the outside in with results you can see and ingredients you can trust. Malachi Organics products are packed with natural goodness to protect, restore, and glow up your routine. The Collagen Booster Serum is a powerhouse formula that firms and tightens, smooths out fine lines, and brings back a youthful glow by promoting elasticity and resilience. Their moisturizing sunscreen, SPF 40, is lightweight but hydrating, giving you daily protection without the greasy feel, even in winter. All Malachi Organics products are made with organic, skin-loving ingredients for results you can see and feel. Shop now at malachiorganics.com or get it online at Macro.
When it comes to protecting your workforce, trust the workwear brand that has been protecting workers for over 150 years. Sweetall. Sweetall has overalls and uniform solutions for every industry. So your team is safe, comfortable, and ready to tackle any challenge. Go to sweetall.com today. Sweetall. We never let you down. Superior protective workwear since 1871.
Choose Checkers, SA's #1 in value supermarket, and save on deals like Fanta Sprite Stony or Schweppes cold drink 2 litres, any 2 for 32 Rand. Nivea body lotion or cream 400 mils, any for 56.99. And beef oxtail for 98.99 per kilo. Valid until this Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
702 and Absa Home Loans are celebrating a year of unlocking home ownership insights. Since June of 2024, the Absa Home Ownership Series on the Masterclass with me has helped you better understand the property game, one smart conversation at a time. This Wednesday, we're diving into the South African property landscape and how you can take part in the property economy. So don't miss the Masterclass with Relebogile Mabotja this Wednesday. That is tomorrow, only on 702, brought to you by Absa Home Loans. Absa is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. NCR CP7, T's and C's apply.
Spend your afternoon
With Relebogile Mabotja.
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
18 minutes after 1 o'clock. Have you had a situation where somebody asking for help that came to you asking for help became, in inverted commas, as a reference to the saying, beggars can't be choosers, a choosy beggar? Has that been the case? And this can range from anything. For example, a person asking for a lift but insisting that they must sit in the front seat. It can be a person asking for some kind of help but also just inconveniencing you for how they want that help in a way that might be unnecessary, maybe even a little bit entitled, maybe even a little bit ungrateful. These situations have happened with strangers, but they also happen with loved ones in your life. Your calls on 011 8830 702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. We have your voice notes coming through.
Yes, hello, Relebogile 702, Tyron Randburg. The baseline here is we got to decide where we're starting from because there's two views. If you're using the baseline like it sounds like you're using, from a fallen state, the nature of us as a fallen race, sinners by nature, well then anyone can have their own opinions. But if you take the Lord Jesus' view on this, it's very simple and it's very clear. The Bible's clear on this. If someone asks for your coat, give him your tunic also. So give him more than he asks for.
The beggars in Joburg, especially the ones in Maro's Ark, I promise you, they're so choosy. Nah? If you don't give them money, they just look at you as if you stink or something. The other day, I wanted to give a guy my leftover pizza. He just looked at me, he's like, what is this? Food. And he just walked away. Can you believe it?
How's it reliable? I remember last time we were working at Bedford Center in Pick and Pay there. I went there Pick and Pay, so I was just shopping little bit things. I saw the lady. She came to me, approached to me. She was putting some other item in a basket. She said to me, "Sorry, man, I'm short, man. My boss put the check for me. It isn't clear yet. I'm already want to buy this thing." It's okay, it's fine. Bring it to me. I'll pay that. She refused, you know that. She want the cash actually in her hand and stop doing whatever she want to do. And that thing was just estimated, I think it was 150 there. So look, as when I have cattle, people you bring it there, never. You just take it back.
Gile, just tell me the route that you are driving to work because I would like to go stand at that stop street to get your scuffing. I promise I won't throw it. It sounds so nice.
Oh my gosh. And that was many, many years ago. Listen, that day I was so chuffed with myself. You know, the days where you pack as kaftin, where you know your lunch is going to be so good. You might even eat it kabo 10. That's how good it was. Some of your messages coming through on the WhatsApp line. One says, there is a guy who stands at the traffic lights on my way to my son's school. He always asks me to buy him salt and vinegar Simba chips. I once offered him different flavored Simba chips and he said, "Now, Keshap." That time he was looking like he could do with some food. That's Sipei from Pretoria East. Hi, I once helped a well-dressed man asking for money for petrol. I gave him some money to top up whatever he had collected. The next day, same time, same spot, I saw him asking for money for petrol. I rolled down the window and told him, how can he lie to us like that every day? He left. I did not see him on the third day. Another one says, hi, we were asked to cater for staff going on a course. We quoted and it was accepted. We made macaroni and tuna, hot meal and salad. I was told a week later that the people were not happy and I must foot their KFC bills. I told them to go get lost. Guys, where are they selling audacity? Where is the audacity being sold? Because I would like some. More of your voice notes on 0727021702.
Hi, Relebogile. Mine was prison ministry. You know, people in prison, they need toiletries. So I asked this guy what he uses, and he said that he uses Meacham. And I had thought, I'll buy him some shield and something. And he said, no, I use Meacham. Yeah, anonymous from Joburg.
Good day, Relebogile. I don't know if this falls within the category, but last year or the year before, there was a gentleman on Rivonia Road by the robots in the afternoon. He had a container. I think it looked like a petrol container, asking that I top him up with like 10 rand so that he can get fuel. He said his car is stuck somewhere. So I'm like, no, I mean, I've been stuck before and people came through for me. So I'm like, okay, here's 100 rand. Go sort yourself out. Takes the 100 rand and he leaves. A few days later, I saw the same gentleman again. I'm like, there's no way you are stuck here again, brother. No. Hector in Midrand.
Guys, I have to read you this one. There's one who asked me for money. And I said I only had money for transport to work. And he said, Skawara, he will walk me to work daily so I can give him the money. Well, would you give your transport money to be walked? Okay, I'm going to the lines. Stina from Alberton, hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, thanks, and you?
Good. You know, it's very funny. I work in the retail industry. Sometimes we do have those homeless or beggars who come to, you know what, I'm hungry. Please, can you give us within the yesterday food? So normally you go, you get the full chicken, the roast chicken, and then with bread, you come, then you have to give, maybe there are two, you say, you know what, guys, just share the chicken and then here's the bread. And then you find out that they have to tell you, no, you can't just give us a chicken like that. I drink Coke, we drink Fanta, you need to give us also cold drink. And then last week on Friday, I had the last one that came, a couple, so they say, okay, they want something. I wait, I get them dry meat with potato, roast potato, and some veggies also. I can get them. And then they say, okay, you know what, do you have any money for cigarettes? I said, sorry guys, I don't have cigarette money. You ask me food, I give you food. And then I said, okay, so can we go with it, cranberry juice? I said, guys, that is what I do here that I'm giving you. I don't have anything else. Oh no, it is like that. You need to give us some money because we need to buy something else. We can't just eat this food the whole day. You know, it's shocking that you need to help people, but they're coming with something else. You know, it's very bad. Very, very bad.
Yes, Stina, and
Yeah.
it's a tricky one because it's almost like there's a part of me that kind of understands it, and hear me out when I say I understand. If I found myself in a position where I might be like homeless and just hustling on the streets every day, what do I have to lose just asking you for everything? If you think about it, I have nothing to lose. So I'm going to keep asking you. So part of me is like, that is a smart opportunist. You just keep asking, because what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? So now they give you the bread. I saw one person saying they gave someone bread and the person's like, but what am I eating the bread with? And then now you're like, okay, I'll get you this. Then like, okay, but what am I drinking? Okay, but how am I at the shelter? It's this much. And then I think I would probably do the same thing. Tato in Brakpan, go ahead.
Hi, Asilewele.
Yeah, Bo.
Yes, now also I once refused the help that I was given because I'm an e-hailing driver. But the client eat the bag. I don't know where did he find it. Then he wanted to give me something that he has eaten. I can't take something that is a leftovers. Not because I'm better or what, but it makes less of human. You can't eat something and come and give somebody something that you've been eating. I feel like people must either buy something. If you want to eat with somebody, let's eat together. Not something that you want to eat somewhere else. Now you just want to give a person. That's why some people, they throw it away, you see. Or
But wait, let me ask you, Tato, did you ask for the food? So that's the difference.
I didn't ask the food. They always like this thing of saying they say, hey, my brother, it was a night. I'm full, man. I can't eat. Please. I'm like, yes, sis. I throw it away. If I respect, I just throw it away. Sometimes I refuse. I say, no, I can't take a leftover.
No, and you see, the reason why I side with you in this argument is because you didn't ask for the food. You didn't say, I'm also hungry. And then a person said, you know what, have the other half. That's a different thing. So no, there you're also in, guys, also, some of your messages that are coming through. One says, when Relebogile says I stumbled upon something, you know it's going to be a massive show. So a person can be on the street and beg for petrol. Guys, you're giving us ideas. I'm on it. Go for it. I did tell you guys the story of a guy that I worked with for many years who is an admitted rich kid. And he was there driving Alfa Romeo. At the time, it was and there he is in his car. And because he didn't want to call his dad again for money, he had nothing. And it was so bad that he is this tall, good-looking white man, fancy car in Cape Town. And if you know, there are the people that beg there in Cape Town, they would refer to them as bergies. And he says to me that a bergie was walking by and he asked this homeless person for money. And he gave him the money. He gave him the money. With his fancy sport car, he was given the money. It's 1:30. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. The Road Accident Fund has rescinded a decision to place Chief Executive Officer Collins Letswalo on special leave and now replaced it with a suspension. The board has today told Parliament the about turn follows advice that the special leave decision was not legally sound. It says it's suspending Letswalo for ignoring an instruction not to travel to Cape Town last week, where the Standing Committee on Public Accounts was probing a number of matters at the beleaguered fund. The agriculture sector has contributed the most to the country country's upward momentum in the GDP marginal growth. Stats SA released the latest GDP figures earlier today, which show that the first 3 months of this year were a slow start for the economy, which recorded a 0.1% growth. Agriculture production rose by 15.8%, adding a 0.4 percentage to the GDP. And a power supply issue has led to the memorial service of renowned actor Presley Chweneyagae being temporarily paused. Hundreds of people, including family, friends and former colleagues, have gathered at the Mabotja Convention Centre in Mahikeng to honour the life of the star, fondly referred to as Cabrizi. Chweneyagae died last week over what his family has confirmed was respiratory issues. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at 2 o'clock or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling towards Leondale, we've got an accident on the N3 North, right near Leondale Road. Delays from Heidelberg Road. Please be on the lookout there. While traveling in the Crown City area, delays along several routes, including Crownwood Road, Main Reef Road, as well as the M2 West. And there's also queuing traffic on the N14 South approaching the R114 rather. Please be on the lookout there. It's due to an earlier accident. And in the city of Tshwane, delays along the N1 North approaching the Flying Saucer interchange. That's due to roadworks taking place there. Please be on the lookout and approach with care.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Every 5 hours, a child disappears somewhere in South Africa.
If we really look at the numbers today, I think it is far worse because so many cases are actually going unreported. So there's various reasons why trafficking happens. Children going missing in our country is a crisis. We as a community need to stand up and be more vigilant. Contact us at Missing Children South Africa. We will get someone to assist.
Bianca van Aswegen.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Dear Journal, trying to be an adult, day 3,268. I love payday because my salary would look huge to 15-year-old me, but that's in 2011 money, not 2024 money. 28-year-old me is not so easily embraced.
Recently removed from the family payroll. Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's like 570 Rand a month, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
Legendary spins lead to striking wins in the Hollywood Bets exclusive Spinner Zonke Tournament of Champions. Take dominance in the arena of big wins and power your spins with 3 Rand or more on selected slots. Conquer the leaderboard for a chance to win a share of 500,000 Rand in cash. Spinner to electrifying games that bring you closer to colossal wins. Bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bets supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Just like your last breakup, commitment is messy. Leave the chaos behind and find something new to hold on to with Frentosa. Discover subscriptions on tech, appliances and more that will make your heart go bum, bum, bum. No red flags here, only green flags like month-to-month payments, 0 penalty fees, and the flexibility to upgrade or downgrade whenever. Not feeling the connection? No ghosting needed. Simply return it for something new that'll give you that spark you're looking for. Commitment is messy. Just Rentosa it. Download the app, visit the website, and join our WhatsApp channel.
Every small business owner knows that you got to dream big to achieve even bigger. And Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 understands that it takes guts and determination to show up for your customers and expand your business and your bottom line. That's why we're looking for all the SMEs of Gauteng that dare to reinvent, expand, and shake things up. You could win 200,000 Rand in cash and 200,000 Rand in an advertising package to help you chase your small business dreams. So if you're a small business that dares to level up, enter on igniteyourbusiness.co.za for Nedbank Business Ignite on 702. T's and C's apply. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702 afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja.
24 minutes to 2 o'clock. We are talking about people asking for help, but then getting very choosy about how that help is received from a loved one, someone in your life. It could be a colleague or just somebody on the street that is begging. And I want to hear from you also. What are the circumstances that a beggar should be able to be choosy or picky? 011 883 0702 in the WhatsApp line, 072 702 1702. Ronaldo in Roodepoort. Go ahead.
How's it, man? So
yeah.
It was about a couple of years ago. My son was very young at the time. I think he was about 13 or so. And he got his allowance. And then they got to a robot in Roodepoort. And this lady was there, almost like half in tears and stuff. And then my wife said, no, she doesn't have any money. And he had just gotten his allowance. It was about $200 or something for the month. And he could see this because he's a very softy. And he says, he calls her over, he gives her the money, he gives her his whole allowance to say, okay, you can go and buy your baby nappies because that's what she wanted. And then a day or two later, they went through there, but they were driving my car, so it's a different car. And the same lady comes up and says, I need money for my baby's nappies. But then the twist of the story was, it came on our community group, this lady doesn't have a baby. There's no baby.
How? How?
So, yeah.
So what were these things going to be used for?
I don't know. But yeah, but he's still the same. He's still like, if we buy a takeaway or whatever and he's eating in the car, he'll give it away or he'll hide it under the seat so that the people that's begging doesn't actually see that he's eating something.
Oh my god.
But yeah, some of these people are chances of note, eh?
You just got to be strong. I think the trick is, if you're not in a position to help, like, I try to do the wave thing but sometimes when I'm not strong, I try not to even make eye contact because I'm like, guys, it's too much. It's too much. Thank you for your call, Ronaldo. More of your voice notes on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Relebogile. Mine totally left me surprised. So a guy asked me for some cash, then I just put my hand in my pocket, had a bunch of 1 rand, 2 rand, 5 rands or so. It was a lot of money. And then I gave it to him. He actually refused and said, how dare I treat him as if he wants notes. He doesn't take coins. Now I think twice before I give a person coins. Thanks.
How, guys? No. You?
Relebogile, I have a rule. I never have any real cash on me. I pay with cards. So I will buy them Chelsea buns. I buy them a 6-pack, or I buy them every single time I go into either one of the shops that I shop at. I come out with something for those guys, and never once have they thrown it back at me. They've just been grateful because I say, I got no money, but I got you this. And they've been really grateful. So, hell, let one tell me that. That'll be the end of all of them. They'll not get anything anymore. Anyway, that's my story. Karen.
Hi, Relebogile. Yo, let me tell you. Okay, we are running an NPO in Ivory Park and in Midvale. I'm telling you, we don't have sponsors yet. Now, people, when you cook what you have and dish up for them, they will tell you that we ate last week rice. We ate rice again. We want stamp. We want steamed bread. Yo, I'm telling you, they demand. And I used to tell them that, you know what, I take these things, I take food at home, I take from my pocket. So if I've got money, that's when you're going to eat meat and soup and whatsoever. I am telling you, it's another level, the beggars.
Hi, Relebogile. This is the Dopa from Centurion. There is a lady who's operating in Brooklyn and the surrounding areas. She's always looking for a petrol. I assisted her back in 2016, And even yesterday, I saw her at one of her operating sites. Thank you. Bye.
Guys, hey, one says, I went to my neighbor's asking for Jacob's coffee and she wanted to give me coffee. I refused. She gave me a piece of her mind. But also, Luena. Can't you're the choosy beggar. Okay, so somebody on X said that the times it is justified for a beggar to be choosy is when it comes to allergies. Now, the reason I'm going to agree is because when I need to let people know how allergic I am to something, is that if all there was to eat was fish, it is easier and better for me to starve than eat the fish because it's poison to my bodies. So if you do have a homeless person begging and then you give them something and they happen to be allergic, I think that is one time a beggar is able to be choosy. More of your voice notes.
Lebogile, let me tell you a story about this guy who generally begs. This guy, I met him in Midway Muse in Midrand. So this guy pretends like he's deaf, right? The first time I gave him some money and I spoke to him. And guess what? He kept on agreeing. And then I said, you're not deaf, are you? He says, no, I'm not. And then I gave him the money. So I was like, okay, now let him go. The second time he comes back, he does the same thing. I said, Emana, can you remember me? I'm the one who knows your secret when I talk to others, not me. That's because that's.
Hello, Relebogile. I'm phoning. I'm from Bryanston. It didn't happen to me, but as I was driving, I saw a beggar with a placard. It was written, "No food and no rubbish coins." Yeah.
Hi, Relebogile. Yay. Yeah, no. Some people now, I had one that said, can you please give me money from your transport money? I promise you I'm going to pay you back. Wara fish paste. I sent the money. The money never came. I was pissed because I'm thinking, okay, you're willing to sabotage my job just for that, so that I help you. The next time she came back and she said to me, please give me 400 rand from the money you've saved for your snacks for the month. Like, this was like a sign. I'm not going to pay you back. Snacks are not important. So now, uzanga corner, it's no longer petrol money. I must just give my snacks money. I just blue tick and I did not even respond. Thank you.
All right, some of your WhatsApp messages. I've been paying college fees for a younger girl. She then came to me one day asking for more money. I told her I don't have the money. She then started crying, saying she had no one else to ask. I then gave her the extra 1,600 rand with the promise that she'll pay it back ASAP. She then had a million stories, scammers. I still pay her school fees, but she knows she has broken my trust in her. Listen, this is what I always say. When people say they're going to pay you back and they don't, then you know you never ever have to deal with. Leave it, because now they can never come to you ever again for money. I have a whole headache of a church mate. This girl feels so entitled. You'd swear she's Mary, Jesus's mother. So after church on Sunday, she casually asks me for a lift to the supermarket near our church. Cool, whatever. But then she has the nerve to say I must wait for her while she shops and then drive her back to her house because she's wearing heels. Mind you, her house is literally a stone's throw away from the church. I straight up told her to go change her shoes and walk. What really sent me over the edge is that her husband has a car. The audacity. I left her standing right there and walked away because I can't. Guys, I know every time I come on air, you guys are going to deliver the wildest stories. My goodness. Last one. A beggar asked me for food at the garage. So I went in and I came out with bread and a tinned beef. The man said no, he wants a pie. Do you know what he responded to the person? He said, pie is for employed people. Thank you.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons.
3 to 6.
You wrote, my father died for the switch. Not only would have been a journey for you going over all the facts and details, brutal as they were, of these killings that took the life of your father and others. How do you feel about potentially hearing all of this detail again? Is there something cathartic about it, or should we be careful not to underestimate how painful it is as well?
Yes, we must, of course, be careful about how painful it is. I think the more we hear about this, the more we're able to talk about it, the better it is.
John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702.
Momentum Insure brings you the Heads Up Weather Series, real stories of how South Africans deal with wild weather. From floods to snowstorms, we often laugh through the chaos, but the truth is extreme weather is becoming more serious, causing real damage to homes, roads and lives. Join the conversation on Momentum Insure's social channels and learn how you are footing the bill for climate change. Momentum Insure, keeping you safe on your journey to success. Momentum Insure is a non-life insurer and an authorized financial services provider. T's and C's apply.
Don't let colds and flu slow you down. Adcock Ingram Winter Warriors is here. Your trusted defense against colds and flu symptoms. Be prepared for everything winter throws your way. Fight the pain and fever with Panado or Compro. Relieve your sore throat and coughs with Cepacol. And guard your immune system and gut with Gummy Bites and Probiflora. Adcock Ingram Winter Warriors. Your defense starts here. Ask your pharmacist about Adcock Ingram Winter Warriors.
Foxfest deals are back. Get a free upgrade to the Polo Vivo Life when you buy a new Polo Vivo and pay 0% deposit. Get more features at no extra cost. Buy it now and only pay 3 months later. Offer valid only through Volkswagen Financial Services. Looking for something sportier? The stylish T-Cross is yours from just 399,900 Rand. These Foxfest deals won't last. Visit your nearest dealer today or visit vw.co.za.
702.
Tech Feature.
13 minutes to 2 o'clock in our tech feature for today. We're talking about South Africa's first app dedicated to investment gifting. And those of you who know how much I love things like this. We're joined by the founder and CEO at Squirrel Away, Sibongile Mabotja, as in my beats, because Sibongile ke Relebogile. Ke Sibongile 011-883-0702 in the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Bizo, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. So excited to be here.
Can I tell you why I'm so excited for what we're talking about today? So one of the things that I committed for my son is he doesn't get like birthday presents typical. He gets shares every year.
Mm-hmm.
So even for his birthday, when I sent invites, gifts are not compulsory. If you would like to do something, here are his details so that shares can be in his name. So when he turns 25, don't ask me why I'm saying 25, because we know what we know.
Yeah.
Then we'll say, by the way, here's your portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm excited because it just makes this so much easier.
With that money.
Listen, okay, so how did this all come about?
I think being a parent, like just you said, I mean, I've got 2 kids and I was just so tired of the clutter also. Those rooms full of toys, that's how the idea initially came about. And my experience is in the financial services background. And I thought, why can't I come up with something that, that will create long-term value, move away from short-termism, so to say. And, my daughter's when she turned 4, I literally went in and priced each and every toy that she did. Because I was going through this journey.
Really?
Yes. And you won't believe how much she got. It was over 9,000 rands of gifts. And if you think about it, if you take that 9,000, just put it in a normal account. When she turns 18, that will be over 80, 90,000.
Yes.
And if you assume for the next 14 years until she turns 18, let's say you assume, 10,000 every year putting into that account. By the time she turns 18, you know how much that money would be? It would be almost 400,000, and you have not even done anything. So this is essentially what brought about this change.
You gave me such an idea now. I'm like, imagine for your wedding gift registry. You say, guys, you can buy shares here. We're gifting. Guys, I love it.
Exactly.
I love it.
Change the mindset of how we see gifting. Instead of it being a consumption driven, we can actually create long-term value for the next generation.
How did you make then that transition from being, corporate girly to now going out and doing this on your own? Because it's tough.
It's tough.
Especially in the space that you're operating in, which is your fintech.
No, I think the transition was always there. I've done my part. I've paid my school fees, got my dues in corporate. And I mean, I've gotten lots and lots of lessons and, learned a lot of experience. So the transition into this has been tough. But luckily, the experience is there. I mean, even we are FSCA registered, so we are an authorized FSP also. So from that perspective, in terms of the transition, because, I mean, it's combining what I've been working for over 25 years to today, but the difference is now having to, no salary, and having to put money into it. It's tough. It's not easy. They always hear capital is available for female. I'm yet to see it, but we are here. We are live. So it's exciting for Squirrel Away.
Why the name Squirrel Away? Why do I feel like you involved your child in the name?
No, actually not. So there is this term that's called squirreling away. So it's like when somebody say you are squirreling away, it means that the background of it is that squirrels in summer, when there's an abundance of food, what they do, they take their nuts and their acorns and they actually hide them for winter. And then when it's winter, they're saying squirreling away. You are hiding something for consumption later on. Essentially, that's where the name comes from. It's literally you are squirreling away those gifts so that when your child turns 25, here's money, you can go start your business.
So what makes this simple, unlike what I would do, which is here the child's bank accounts or here's the easy equities and then the reference and then the thing. You're making it as simple as creating a profile. So let's say the gifting is for your child. You share now that link to the loved ones and then they are able to put directly into the child's investment.
Yes.
So that we as parents stop eating our children's birthday money.
Because how many times have you received cash and you're like, I'm going to deposit, but I mean, do you ever go and deposit that money? No.
Wait, let's be for real. Okay. Because it's all our birthday.
Absolutely.
This
so
is
you
so
end
brilliant.
Up using the money. You never make it to the bank to deposit. Who goes to branches anyway these days? So you end up, using that money. So I thought, why not create something that's going to make it easy? There's no middleman. No one is involved. You create your profile. You as Relebogile, you'll open up your profile, create dependents, and literally that link, it's to the child's investment account. And send that link, birthdays, hey guys, send that link, Squirrel Away.
So I can create my profile, right? With my,
with
for me.
Yeah, so remember they're under
18.
Yeah, they're under 18. So
I'm saying a profile for me.
Yes.
A Relebogile profile.
Absolutely.
So I can also have my own link. It's not limited to gifting for minors.
No, it's gifting across the board. I mean, even for yourself, if there's a wedding registry, instead of people buying the same pots, same what, you use that
Guess
for
why
yourself.
I'm happy?
Baby showers, any milestone, anything, literally you can use Squirrel Away for that. It's not limited to children only.
So the reason I'm saying it is because to all the men in my DMs, I have a very easy way. Because you can't send numbers or bank account. They mustn't know. But this way, when they're like, ooh, Relebogile, can I just
exactly.
I would be like,
send them,
give me my investment. I love this. Okay, so in terms of what else the app can do, I mean, because it's quite new, having launched a month before last. Can it guide you now in terms of what you're choosing to do with that pot?
Yeah. So we, on our first phase, I mean, we're still fairly new in the market. We're just getting started. So currently, we've got wallet-to-wallet gifting. So what that is, once you get the money into the app, then gets invested into sort of a money market account that earns 6.25% interest per annum. Even if you deposit 100 rands, that will still earn the same interest rate. But then our next phase is where we integrate the integration of the investment. So we'll be offering unit trusts, we'll be offering ETFs, which again would incorporate, like the question you asked, there'll be sort of a risk assessment. It will guide you through and some questions to let you know what type of investment would sort of suit your risk profile. So that will be the next phase. And then, our dream is literally just to make creating wealth sort of, tangible to everyone.
I think this is absolutely brilliant. And I'm wondering, how has the industry responded? I think we're still living in a time where it is a big deal for a Black woman to be in a fintech space because of how much it requires to get things up and running. Not just the part of being, a registered FSP, but also the part of, being in a tech space. How has the industry received you?
As expected, it's tough. What makes you think you can do this? What makes you think you can compete with some of the big brands out there? What makes you think that, are you sure you need to do this? I've gotten a lot of naysayers along the way. But experience shows that this is needed. People need easy ways of gifting and making it. So we just persevered. It's been tough. It's not easy. It's tough. No one believes in the dream, but you have to keep on going. And here we are.
Here you are. Listen, the business is called Squirrel Away. For those of you that struggle, or us that struggle with spelling, it's SQUIRREL away.co.za. Head over there, and of course you can also download the app on your Google Play Store or Apple App Store as well, and just have that link ready. You never know when you can be like, actually, if you want to say thank you, let me quickly send you a link. Thank you so much.
Yeah, the beauty about it, sorry to interrupt, the beauty about it is that it can be for anything. The other day, my son did a voiceover for one of the staff, and I just paid him through Squirrel.
There you go.
100 rands here, 100, it adds up over time. And make compound interest your friend.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
This week on Polytricking with Sibongile.
We refused to be garden boys of Helen Zille. In fact, in one of the meetings when we were negotiating the coalition, Helen Zille says to me, the Federal Council says that we must prove ourselves with one department. I said, Ella, don't talk to us like that. For the first time, the DA is worried about losing Western Cape, and we are their biggest threat. That is why Helen Zille hates us. Myself and John exchange cigars every now and then when we meet. And when you sit with John, you sit with the Freedom Front Plus, you agree on how we should move forward. But shame, John Wabatu, he goes to report, Magogo says, no.
That's Kenny Kunene from the PA.
Listen to the full episode on primemediaplus.com. Polytricking with Sibongile on EWN. In touch, in tune, and independent.
Sell your car now and get paid instantly. There is no waiting when it comes to We Buy Cars. Simply complete the online form on webuycars.co.za to get started. Looking for your next ride? Explore thousands of vehicles with finance and all the extras available online and in-store. Whether buying or selling, We Buy Cars has what you need.
Remember when we were rocking just one bike, dreaming big for our delivery business?
Those days. Now we're here with a whole fleet of vans and trucks.
That's why it's important to have the right partner in your corner.
Of course, we owe to My Way Business Insurance. They've been our go-to for comprehensive cover, protecting our fleet while we deliver excellence.
Talk about going from pedal power to horsepower.
Move your business to My Way and get cover for your vans and trucks. Visit myway.co.za for a quote and do business your way. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's apply.
Are you looking for the best savings on spectacles? At Specsavers, enjoy 1,500 Rand off when you get tested at South Africa's trusted and most established optical group. Get 1,500 Rand off all frames in store, or use your 1,500 Rand off on our leading lens enhancements, such as drive light lenses that reduce artificial glare whilst driving. Book online or call your nearest store today. Affordable eye care, Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
In the next hour of the show, series edition, together with Momentum Insurance, this first episode of the series on the impact of climate change and severe weather insurance. We're talking about understanding and responding to severe weather warnings. And then our car feature, get all your technical car questions ready. Send them in early, 072 702 1702. It's 2 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Maki Molapo. The Road Accident Fund has rescinded a decision to place Chief Executive Officer Collins Letswalo on special leave and now replaced it with a suspension. The board has today told Parliament the about turn follows advice that the special leave decision was not legally sound. It says it's suspending Letswalo for ignoring an instruction not to travel to Cape Town last week, where the Standing Committee on Public Accounts was probing a number of matters at the beleaguered fund. The board was ordered to appear before the Transport Portfolio Committee today, which said it was in the dark about these developments. Lindsay Dendlinger has more.
After a back and forth between RAF and Scopa about the appearance at last week's meeting, the RAF board said it was decided that an acting CEO would go after Collins Letswalo allegedly refused to attend. Today, Deputy Board Chairperson Nomonde Mabuya-Moluele said although Letswalo did not attend the Scopa meeting, he still travelled to Cape Town without the expenditure being approved.
The CEO was still adamant he's not going to Scopa. That was clearly articulated, and he wouldn't necessarily encourage his team to go to Scopa.
Although the CEO's contract makes provision for special leave, Mabuya Moluele says the company's policy does not, and at a board meeting last night, it was advised to retract the decision.
On the 27th, it was made clear he's not coming to Parliament because he was taking instructions from his lawyer and not necessarily from us, and that we saw as defiance and insubordination.
The committee has taken a dim view of the board's handling of the matter, with some MPs saying its actions appear questionable. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
The agricultural industry has given the country's economy a lifeline, boosting growth marginally in an otherwise underperforming quarter. Stats SA released the latest GDP figures earlier today, which showed that the first 3 months of this year were a slow start for the economy, registering a 0.1% growth. Agriculture production rose by 15.8%, adding a 0.4 percentage to the GDP. The sector is one of 4 out of the country's 10 industries on the supply side of the economy that recorded positive gains. Chief Director for National Accounts, Bakang Vumbukani Lepolesa.
On the production side of the economy, 4 of the 10 industries grew. The agriculture industry was the most significant positive contributor, increasing by 15.8% and adding 0.4 of a percentage point to the overall growth.
In KwaZulu-Natal, former President Jacob Zuma has lost his bid to have charges related to the controversial arms deal filed against him dropped. The Pietermaritzburg High Court has today dismissed an application brought by French arms company Thales and Zuma to be acquitted of the criminal charges. Thales filed the application a month ago, arguing that since 2 of its key witnesses have died, it would not be guaranteed a fair trial. Zuma joined Thales in its bid to have the charges dropped. Tlantla Mapaso has more.
The Pietermaritzburg High Court has found that former President Jacob Zuma and French arms deal company Thales do have a case to answer to. They face charges of corruption, fraud, racketeering and money laundering linked to the 1999 arms deal. Judge Nkosinathi Chili delivered his judgment earlier today.
There is no justification for the grant of the order sought by Mr. Zuma in the alternative in accordance with Section 1721B of the Constitution. I therefore make the following order. The application by both Mr. Zuma and Thales is dismissed.
Chili added that Zuma's rights to a fair trial will not be affected by the absence of Thales' 2 key witnesses. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Pietermaritzburg.
And in the Northwest, industry colleagues of Presley Chweniagaye have expressed their respect for the late actor, saying he not only left a mark in the arts, but in the lives of all South Africans. Scores of people, including fans, family, friends and former colleagues, are gathering at the Mabotja Convention Centre in Mahikeng this afternoon to honour the life of a star. Chweniagaye died at the age of 40 last week from what his family confirmed to be respiratory issues. Fellow actor Israel Matseke Zulu has described his beloved friend as a legend who poured out his love for his craft on screen. Affectionately calling him Kobrizi, he says Chweniagaye was testament to the saying that where one comes from does not define how they shape their life. Zulu, who was also in the Oscar-winning film Tsotsi, reiterated the call for government to pour into the industry.
To all the stakeholders, to all the Department of Government, to all the organizations, to all the activists, artists, celebrities, icons. It's our responsibility to create our own world, that will produce and reproduce us and benefit us.
He added that despite Chweniachaye's talent, the South African industry failed to celebrate him accordingly.
There's a lot we can talk about. Sometimes it's not necessary. To be in Hollywood is not to be in heaven. Yes, we won the Oscar. We brought the Oscar in the country. But Oscar doesn't make you a millionaire or a billionaire.
Gold's trading at $3,358.32 an ounce. The rand's at 17.88 to the dollar, at 24.16 to the pound, at 20.38 to the euro. Brent crude oil's at $64.86 a barrel.
And in the traffic heading towards Leondale, we still have got delays along the N3 South. This is between Heidelberg Road and Leondale Road due to an earlier accident. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North in the Giluli's interchange area. Please be on the lookout there. While travelling on the M1 South out of Braamfontein, do expect delays from Empire Road towards the Crown interchange.
Look at your weather. Clear skies in Gauteng this afternoon. Temperatures are peaking at highs of 20 and 21 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. The Road Accident Fund has rescinded a decision to place Chief Executive Officer Collins Letswalo on special leave and now replaced it with a suspension.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
What are the matters that matter to you?
702 listens.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Seven minutes after 2 o'clock, it's the second and final hour of 702 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. And guess what, guys? We are officially live streaming on YouTube. So from today, you can tune in and you'll be able to see the studio live at all times. You'll be able to have a real-time connection if you want to see the guests' faces, if you want to see if the face matches the voice. Sometimes I describe guests to you and tell you like, yo, people dressed up for the show, or I tell you like, yo, this person is so as beautiful and as they sound. That's what it's there for. So head over to the 702 page or channel rather on YouTube. That's just called Radio 702, and you'll be able to watch us live in real time, and I hope that you get to enjoy that. There's a live chat as well, so if you comment on YouTube, I will be able to also ask your questions and see them. Make sure you are a subscriber. That's the way you'll be able to chat in the chat box. Coming up on the show in this hour, our series edition, a brand new one with Momentum Insure, as we cover the impact of climate change and severe weather on insurance. So episode 1 is today, and we're going to be talking about understanding and responding to severe weather warnings. We'll be joined by Chief Actuary Momentum Insurers Rudolph Brits. And then we wrap up with our car feature. Nicol Louw, our technical car guy, will be joining us to take all of your technical car questions, but also talk about crash analysis of vehicles. Definitely tune into this one because we know it is a massive issue when it comes to used cars and all of those things. So that is the conversation we will be having with Nicol Louw. You can already get your questions in early. Give us a call, 011 883 0702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 Afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702.
Series Edition.
Series Edition time, and we start a brand new series for this month of July. We are together with Momentum Insure, and we talk about the impact of climate change and severe weather on insurance. So it is our very first episode where we're going to be covering understanding and responding to severe weather warnings. And of course, today's series edition with me, Relebogile Mabotja, is brought to you by Momentum Insure, keeping you safe on your journey to success, because we know severe weather is becoming more frequent and more intense, and many South Africans still ignore official warnings. And Momentum Insure is on a mission. They want to change that. With safety at the heart of its brand, Momentum Insure is urging consumers to take weather alerts seriously, not only for their well-being, but to also protect their pockets. So Rudolph Brits joins us, Chief Actuary at Momentum Insure, to unpack why people often don't respond to severe weather warnings, what's at stake when they don't, and how to prepare with practical safety first tips. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Relebogile, and thanks for having me, and good afternoon to your listeners.
The moment that I knew we'd talk about severe weather warnings and non-responsiveness, the first thing that came to mind was what happened with the snow. And, people being stuck after there was a warning that went out. Now, I'm very sorry to my younger brother, but I'm about to expose you. He was one of the people that said, so they drove out, but luckily for them, they saw how bad it was and ended up turning around, and they treated it as a bit of an adventure on the side with snow and playing, and then went right back. And I think there's a part of me that thought to myself, maybe as South Africans, we are not accustomed to severe weather conditions because that's not how it's been for the past 30 years.
Yeah, but I think it's human nature to think that things won't happen or go wrong with me. And it's even mathematically backed up. Most of the times bad things don't happen. So it's good, So I can understand completely if people find it interesting and they want to see what's going on. But the reality is people must be careful when they drive in those situations where they don't really understand what is going on. We're not accustomed to snow. We don't know how to drive in snow. So it's absolutely important that you understand and take heed of any warnings that you get. Just the other day, there was severe rain in Northwest. I don't know if you remember. They had 200 millimeters in a week's time, and there was flooding on the farms and everything. Now, luckily, not a lot of economic loss. But I just this morning saw a warning for Strand, a suburb in the Western Cape, where they're predicting 100 millimeters of rain over the coming weekend. That's as severe. That's a good example of a warning that I think people should really take seriously.
Can you maybe share with us, because your brain being an actuary is wired automatically to think about stats and risk and what's likely to happen. So from your perspective, with your brain being wired that way, what would you share with us as average Joes we should always keep in the back of our minds when it comes to making a decision that could cost you your life and not with warnings such as this one? Because I can't imagine if somebody said, oh, there's a fire coming. We were watching the LA fires being like, some people are refusing to leave. Why aren't they leaving? But I'm like, I wasn't going to leave my house. I probably was also going to be like, nah, I'll pray. Because you think about everything you could be losing. You want to protect your,
No, it's a good question that you ask. I think maybe just one step back, talk about climate change and how that affects weather and stuff.
Yeah.
So climate change is the circumstance in which weather happens. If I explain it by sport, it makes sense to my kids, so I'll do that.
Yes.
You can think about the rules of a soccer game. That is climate. The rules is the climate. But the way that the pitch shows up and the ref shows up and whether you're offside or not and the game plays out, that is weather, Now, we know that the rules are busy changing. So climate is changing. All we really know is that it's going to get warmer. And we know that that will affect many other things, but exactly how, we're not sure. Luckily, in South Africa and most places in the world, we've got very mature and good short-term forecasting, weather forecasting methodologies. That is the thing that influences weather warnings and the like. And that is the thing that I think people should take seriously. What we've seen in our business is many people showing up, with the attitude of things won't go wrong with me. But I think it's important if you drive around and ask yourself the question whether you've got a plan. When the hail comes, will you be the guy that parks underneath the bridge or not? If you drive and you see there's flooding over a low water bridge, will you be the guy that turn around, or will you be that guy that drives through? That's the kind of thing
Those videos though, and the thing is, I get the person in the car because I imagine myself being like, my car's pretty high, but I also imagine myself watching the video going, why are you going in there? Is is there something, just to what you said in regards to, yes, there's the climate change, there's the weather warnings, but also just in general about attitude towards insurance and the risk? Because I know of people who will say, well, I paid for years and
It's
nothing
covered.
happened. And then the day, obviously, that they stop paying is when now they're like, but...
Look, you touched on it. I think there are maybe 3 levels to this. The first one is safety, just your personal and your loved ones, their safety. It's important. So don't get into a situation where you can potentially get harmed or hurt or even lose your life. I think that you should try and avoid at all costs. Then the second thing is your financial safety. So, without insurance, let's first talk that scenario. If you drive and it's raining and you drive through a pothole and you lose your wheel, or we've shown that, motor accidents are more likely when it's raining. That loss can be severe. Now you add insurance to it, and yes, you're then covered, and the insurance will pay out. But in time, if people don't change their behavior and accidents increase and people keep on losing roofs or whatever the case may be, insurance price will rise. So the cost of cover will just keep on going up. So it will eventually affect you financially. And lastly, it's important from a convenience perspective. Now, it's one thing to be without your car because it's getting repaired this week or next week, but it's another thing when there's been a severe hailstorm and everybody wants their vehicles repaired at the same time. People can wait for months to get stuff repaired, and I think that's just a massive hassle and inconvenience.
Yes, you are dropping bars, as we say, and dropping facts. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we continue with our series. Your questions on 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Every time we're on the radio, we're not just talking.
We're turning words into actions.
Actions that change communities.
Actions that make a difference.
And every time you tune into 702, you're not just listening to the radio.
You're in conversation with us.
And your voice matters. You're on a journey with us, and every step we take counts.
It's these steps that not only help us grow as individuals,
but also bring us together as a society through the good times and the bad.
Every step gets us closer to the South Africa we want to be.
So, keep walking with 702.
And let's make this a journey to remember.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
If your skin's feeling a little flat this winter, bring it back to life with Malachi Organics. From the SPF 40 moisturizing sunscreen that protects even on cloudy days, to the collagen booster serum that firms and smoothens, it's skincare that really works. The 3-in-1 total maintenance scrub mask cleanses, exfoliates and hydrates, while the youth plumping organic mask honey gives your skin a rich, radiant glow. Shop online at malachiorganics.com or found them on Macro Online. Follow at Malachi_organics on Instagram for more.
Icy adventure awaits in Penguin Rush, the amazing new multiplier game exclusive to Hollywood Bets. Balance risk and bag big rewards in this boundary-pushing game. Tap into thrilling adventures, rapidly increasing multipliers, tricky obstacles, and different difficulty levels that bring you closer to big wins. It's everything you ever wanted in a multiplier game and more. Bet now to feel the rush.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
It's that time of the year. Sore throats, congestion, wet and dry coughs, pain and fever. For trusted relief for you and your family, ask your pharmacist to recommend a winter survival pack from the Adcock Ingram OTC range. With products like Medikil A, Expigen, Corenza Parac, Adco Napamol, Dilinct Junior and more, we have you covered this winter. Remember, Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Dion de Graaf is the CEO at AutoZone. Dion, any company going into business rescue isn't going there because they want to. They're in a tough situation. It must feel pretty good to come out of it.
Absolutely. So the biggest change we had to make was really to come up with a better, more suitable funding structure. That, however, was in many ways some of the easiest part of the change. And making sure that stakeholder alignment was there was really the hard work.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB. ABSA is a proud lead sponsor of B20 South Africa 2025. ABSA is a registered FSP. Your story matters. 702, let's walk the talk. 702.
Series Edition.
20 minutes after 2 o'clock, we continue with our series edition. We talk about understanding and responding to severe weather warnings in this first episode of the series. Momentum Insure wants to make sure we prioritize safety. So we are going to be talking this month about the impact on climate change and severe weather on insurance in particular. Chief Actuary from Momentum Insure, Rudolf Brits, is with us. And you really have to be super smart to be an actuary. It is no child's play. So we know the things he's going to tell us are based on data and experience. 011-883-0702, the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Just in terms of, we've touched on the climate change and the weather warnings. Can we talk about maybe one or two scenarios where you have seen that this happens quite often? And because sometimes I think severe weather warnings, it feels like those once off, okay, the floods in KZN. It feels like, okay, it's the, the snow that happened in KZN. But they feel like they happen once in a while. What are the things that we take very lightly that actually are more serious and possibly happen more often?
Yeah, look, I think what's reported in the media, like the snow and the massive floods in KZN, those are the real vast catastrophes. But what is happening on the ground more often than people often know is where severe rainfall happens, like I've suggested earlier, the 100 millimeters in a 2-day period. That is quite significant. And there, if depending on the lay of the land and the soil moisture and most other things, it can cause significant damage to properties. It leads to higher incidence of motor vehicle accidents. We've seen vehicles drift down rivers when rains like that happen, especially in our country where things like infrastructure decay is real. Stormwater drains are not cleaned as often as they should be. The roads are not as well kept as they should be. So these things really add to each other and then cause a lot of damage.
Oh, and I think it is so important and valid what you're sharing there. So what then is the true cost? Because we're talking about how this can affect your pocket. Talk us through the different scenarios and how costly it can be.
Look, it's difficult to get accurate on the cost. If I had to guess, I'd say the cost of weather at this point is as in the region of 15 to 20% of what you pay for insurance. But that's anybody's guess, really. I'd say to avoid the cost is the smartest move you can take. So how do you make sure, basic things, how do you make sure that the gutters of your house is clean so that when the rain comes that the gutter can actually do its work? Or how do you make sure that your roof is painted appropriately so that there's not deterioration if it gets rain fallen onto, or that your car, your tires is roadworthy. So you don't add to the problem and you actually try to keep yourself as safe as possible. And like I said earlier, a very basic thing, I know it's not always possible, but if you don't have to drive in severe weather, don't drive. Rather stay at home. It's the safe option. Maybe it's the boring option, and I'm of that age, but
Yes, I hear you. In terms of when they do give severe weather warnings, I think we also maybe are not fully educated on the levels. Can you chat to us about at what level? Because just saying severe weather warnings for some people could really mean anything.
Sure. Yes, I think it can be quite daunting. And like I tell my friends often, you don't need to be an expert on the Richter scale to understand that the earthquake will damage your house, or you don't need to, what's the wind scale? I think they call it the Beaufort scale.
Yes.
I don't even know how to understand that properly. But if you look at a weather app, you'll easily be able to see when things are going wrong. When you look at the South African Weather Bureau's warnings when they come out, I'd say anything above a yellow level, you should start taking seriously and think, what can that do to me? What can this possibly mean in my circumstance? And then I think 3 steps. Make sure that you listen and understand what's going on. Secondly, have a plan. And then lastly, the moment you see things starting to happen, take action. If you think it is too risky, it probably is.
Ooh. At what level is evacuation? I mean, we're fortunate that we're not at a place where we have those kind of problems, but it doesn't mean it's not a possibility.
Yeah, look, that's really the area of disaster management, and I will be overstepping if I comment on it. But I think if you get the instruction to evacuate, don't think twice. Those folks know what they're talking about, and you should rather follow their lead. I've been asked previously if insurance claims will be turned down if you don't take action, and the truth is no. If we send out yes, we send out a warning as an assistance to our consumers, and we hope that they heed that warning. But the only circumstance that legally would give us a foot to stand on is if a disaster recovery told you to evacuate and you said no. In that case, it would have been an illegal action, and that would be the only scenario.
I'm going to ask you to take off your chief actuary hat for this question. I'm going to ask Rudolph, the person who found himself doing the work that you do, meaning there's certain characteristics that are going to guide us. What would Rudolph do and take if they said, okay, guys, it is evacuation time? So the hat is off. What would you personally take with you if it got to that level? Because in reality, we as a country have not been to a place where we ever have had to do such things, but the areas where they're familiar, they have certain things prepped. The billionaires have bunkers. Conversation for another day. Some people, during COVID, we experienced a little bit of having, just in case, have some petrol in your garage. What are the things that you would say, okay, if I were to prepare, being Rudolph and the kind of person I am, this is what I'd say you must have in the house, number one, and this is what I'd say you should take with you if something were to go down.
I think fast. Now you see, I don't follow my own advice. I don't have my own plan. But if I have to think fast, I'd say I'd take some food. I'd take some warm clothing. And I'd make sure that I can be contactable. So I'll make sure that I have a battery bank in my phone and everything else. And then the memories, stuff that you can't get again. So if you have an old photograph or something that's really precious, I think those things actually help to carry you through when you're at your most dire. But leave your fancy stuff. Leave the television and the computers. You can always replace that.
I love how you left the kids and the dogs. In this whole picture, the kids are being left behind.
They must fend for themselves.
He will take the photos of the kids. I'm going to miss you guys.
They can fend for themselves.
They can fend for themselves. Final thoughts just on what we're talking about and us as a people just ignoring these severe weather alerts and considering we're speaking in the context also not just of safety, but of insurance.
Yeah, maybe a final thought or two. I think now is quite a good time to speak about this. It's winter time. Usually in the summer rainfall region there won't be a lot of rain, so not a lot of things to be worried about. But it's a good time to prepare. It's a good time to make sure you prune back branches and that you stock up on your food and your warm clothing, man. So it's a good time to prepare. And the next thing I'd just say is, even though it's human nature to maybe try and avoid and think that this won't happen to you, have a rational conversation with yourself so that you make sure that you are adequately prepared and that you can take action if you have to.
Thank you so much for coming through and chatting to us, Rudolph. I think we've all got a lot of thinking to do. So do you. Let's have our emergency evacuation list. Not because we're preparing for doomsday, but because we got to be safe and things are changing, especially when it comes to climate change and our weather. And thank you, of course, to Momentum Insure that presents the Heads Up Weather Series. A look at how South Africans navigate unpredictable weather. One moment it's sunny, the next it's your levels of chaos. But beyond the humor lies risk to our homes, roads and safety. Let's stop ignoring those alerts. Join the conversation on Momentum Insure's social channels and learn how you are footing the bill for climate change. Momentum Insure, keeping you safe on your journey to success. Momentum Insure is a non-life insurer and an authorized financial services provider. T's and C's apply. It's 2:30. Time for your latest and Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. The Office of the Gauteng Premier has received an additional 50 million rand in funding earmarked for the second phase of the Nasisbane program. This is a mass recruitment drive launched by Premier Panyaza Lesufi, creating job opportunities for unemployed youth. Finance MEC Relebogile Mabotja tabled his second budget today, including allocations to support the next phase of the program. Former President Jacob Zuma's corruption case is set to resume in December. Zuma and French arms deal company Thales are charged with fraud, corruption, racketeering and money laundering linked to the controversial arms deal. Earlier today, the Pietermaritzburg High Court dismissed their application to have all charges against them dropped. And the agriculture industry has given the country's economy a lifeline, boosting growth marginally in an otherwise underperforming quarter. Stats SA released the latest GDP figures earlier today, which show that the first 3 months of this year were a slow start for the economy, registering a 0.1% growth. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at 3 o'clock or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling on the M1, we've got delays in the southerly direction just between Empire Road and the Crown Interchange, while heading towards Leondale. Traffic remains heavily backed up on the N3 South between Heidelberg Road and Leondale Road. This is due to an earlier accident. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 South. This is just as you come out of the Bryanston area between Winnie Mandela Drive and Malibongwe Drive. An accident has been reported there, and that's the reason for that queue. Please be on the lookout there and approach with care. Traveling towards Fourways, expect delays along Winnie Mandela Drive as well as Witkoppen Road. This is due to faulty traffic lights there. And then in Kempton Park, we've got roadworks taking place on the R21 North, right near the R25, and they are causing delays. I'm Amo Ramela for Eyewitness News Traffic. Mvangeli Nzuza will have your next traffic update at the top of the hour.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Honey, what are you doing?
I'm stretching for tonight.
I thought you're not dancing at bachelorette parties anymore.
Baby, we need the money to put Johnny through matric mos.
And what's the police uniform for?
The clients feel safer when I wear it.
No, man, just sell your bucket to We Buy Cars. They give the best prices and they pay you within minutes.
Okay, but can I just go and dance one more time, please? You know how much I love it.
No, the buyer's already on his way here.
Wow, okay.
Strapped for cash? Just sell your vehicle to We Buy Cars. The easiest way to sell your car by far.
You're on with Philip. Go.
G'day, Philip. This is Steve.
Smart Steve from Momentum, eh?
Indeed. And do you know what's even smarter? Momentum has introduced new tech that's smarter than your smartphone.
Smarter than my smartphone. I doubt it, Steve.
Truce, Bob. It scans your heart rate, blood pressure, oxygen, and stress levels.
Wow. Can he make you a coffee, eh?
Well, not yet. But it can save you up to 35% on your monthly life insurance premiums.
Jeez, 35%? That sounds like a deal.
Just check with your financial advisor about Momentum Life Returns. Momentum, protecting your journey to success. Momentum is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
What does extraordinary mean to you?
Is it being voted South Africa's most trusted enterprise telco 2 years in a row?
Vodacom Business helps more than 133,000 businesses with AI, cloud, enterprise apps, IoT, and security. One seamless ecosystem. Together, let's build the extraordinary that sustains today and protects tomorrow. Start your journey at vodacombusiness.co.za. Further together, Vodacom Business.
Every small business owner knows that you got to dream big to achieve even bigger. And Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 understands that it takes guts and determination to show up for your customers and expand your business and your bottom line. That's why we're looking for all the SMEs of Gauteng that dare to reinvent, expand, and shake things up. You could win 200,000 Rand in cash and a 200,000 Rand advertising package to help you chase your small business dreams. So, if you're a small business that dares to level up, enter on igniteyourbusiness.co.za for Nedbank Business Ignite on 702. T's and C's apply. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Coming up
on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 Drive is coming up from 3 to 6 p.m. with John Perlman. John, how are you doing?
Doing very well, thanks. How are you today?
I am doing well.
Good.
Earlier on, we were chatting about people asking for help, but then becoming choosy beggars. And it ranged from, helping the man begging on the side of the road, asking for bread, and then when you bring him the loaf, he says, sorry, he only eats sliced bread.
I heard that.
All the way to people in your personal life. Have you ever had such an experience?
So I probably have, but while you were talking, because I was driving in and listening to it, was great radio, and it reminded me of a discussion I had many years ago when I was still at SABC about whether matric dances had become too expensive. And one guy phoned in and said he was having such a huge fight with his daughter and he was phoning from a small town in Limpopo to say that he was going to drive her and her partner to the dance, but she said that wasn't acceptable because the family car was of a bad standard. So no, wait, the story moves. So then he said it got so bad they had to consult the local priest to try and make peace. So I said, and how did that go? He said, no, the priest heard both sides of the argument, and then the priest volunteered to be the driver to the matric dance in his much better car. And I thought, did that make things better or worse?
It made things worse, I'm sure.
Hey, who am I to say? But it was the most extraordinary story. So I don't know why, but that popped in my head more than any experience of mine. It was absolutely amazing. This is many, many years ago, by the way. It's like 15 or 16 years ago.
Do you know now the matric dances that young people are dubbing as proms are becoming as expensive as weddings with all the things that they do? So, I mean, there are those videos of the sweet 16ers in the US that are bought their first car. And you see it's like say it's like a BMW X3, and they're screaming saying, but I said I want an X7.
Yes, I suspect they didn't buy it. It was bought for them.
It was bought for them. Surprise. What's coming up on your show today?
So good afternoon, everyone. There's quite a lot going on. We're going to be looking at the problem of ghost workers. And Kieran Ryan, an excellent journalist at MoneyWeb, has done a very good piece looking just at some of the numbers. We don't know the full extent of the problem, but he's coming up with some very interesting answers and clues. He'll join us with that at 10 minutes to 4. Comrades Marathon coming up on Sunday. A group of people involved with the race who don't get much publicity, but they play a crucial part, is the people in the medical teams. And we're going to talk to somebody who actually does that and does it every race. What kind of things do they deal with? How do they prepare and so on? Action SA is calling for the Bill of Rights in the Constitution to be revised. Begins with South Africa belongs to all who live in it. That's not quite the exact phrasing. Anyway, but they're saying that should be modified to say belongs to citizens and everybody who is here legally, because flowing out of that is a certain set of rights that give you access to health, education and housing. And they're saying that is often misused in court cases to provide those resources to people who shouldn't, in their view, be entitled. We'll talk about that after 4, and I'm quite sure our listeners will have a lot to say about it. We'll look a little bit at the GDP figures. Tiny increase, statistically, I think almost irrelevant, 0.1%, but a big surge in agriculture, almost 15% up. We're going to look at why that is. We'll do that sometime after 3 o'clock, and much, much more besides.
I am already just stuck on what you were saying now about the changing of, that Constitution and Bill of Rights. And I'm curious about what would the implications be if those things could be changed that easily due to the possible implications of, because I see both sides of the argument.
Yeah, no, it won't be changed easily. I think a constitutional change requires a 2/3 majority. So if this is going to at least be engaged with, it's the first step on a very long road.
Ooh, we'll definitely be tuning into 702 Drive for that one. I look forward to hearing and listening to all of your views and thoughts. John Pullman hosting 702 Drive from 3 to 6 p.m.
702.
The car feature.
Car feature time 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. We are joined by Nicol Louw, our technical car expert. Get your questions in early for all of your technical car issues. Give us a call or send through a WhatsApp or wherever you are listening or even watching us on the socials, because as I said earlier, we are fully live on YouTube. Make sure that you tune in on the Radio 702 channel on YouTube and you'll be able to speak there or comment there as well. Nicol, how are you? Happy Tuesday.
Happy. Yeah, thank you very much. How are you?
I am doing well, and I'm a little bit nervous for this conversation, having been in a few car accidents. I'm wondering if some of the information I'm going to learn today is going to be scary, interesting, empowering, or make me realize that things are not that great.
I think all of the above, and but it was always the other person's fault, eh? It wasn't
Always,
your fault.
never.
Yes. Yes, we'll talk about that.
All right, so where do we kick off now with this whole thing of crash analysis in vehicles?
Yes, let's start by saying that I think everyone is sort of aware in the aircraft industry that you've got a black box in an airplane, and if there's a crash, they always talk about finding the black boxes. They're actually orange, by the way. And that records sort of the vitals of the plane while flying and also the conversations in the cockpit. And then afterwards they can decipher it and try to figure out what actually caused the crash. So we're all aware of that. But I think not everyone is aware that your car, your modern car, has a similar capability.
Okay,
So
and sorry, I just wanted to say something on, I learned today that the black box is actually orange.
In a plane, that's correct,
Yes,
because
in a
you have
plane.
to find the thing.
Yes.
So I think it's easier looking for an orange box than a black one. But anyway, so in a vehicle, you've got your airbag module. Now that module is an electronic control unit. Obviously, all the electronic control units in the car speak to each other over the CAN bus. And there's a crash signal that is generated when a vehicle is in a crash. So there's either a sensor that detects the crash, or there's an inertial like switch that detects there's a crash. And then that signal is fed to the airbag controller, and it will sort of controls which airbags will go off when and to protect you. But what is also happening is that that module has got access to all the vehicle data as well. And it's sort of got a buffer that can record this crash signal, say about 10 seconds before the crash, sometimes even just only 5 seconds. And then after the crash signal has been received, it still records. So even after the crash event has happened, it's still recording those vital signals of the vehicle. And it stores it. So after the crash, when the crash investigators get to that module, you can either extract the data through the OBD port, but sometimes the vehicle is in such a state that you have to extract it directly from that module. And it can tell you things like, for example, vehicle speed, brake switch, was a brake pressed or not? Did the ABS activate? What was your steering angle before the crash? All those kind of things. Even ambient temperature. What was the temperature on the outside? Was it maybe freezing? Could it have been ice? So what these crash investigators can do or will do is they will first visit the scene of the crash where the incident happened. And also remember that the statements that the drivers or the occupants of a crash say, they say that statements can rarely be trusted, because otherwise they're either in huge shock or they need to hide something. So the data set is really the truth. Plus what is happening, or you can see the site where the crash happened. I'll give you one real life example. So it was a while back when I visited Toyota's head office, and they've got a technical center of excellence that looks at these things. And there was a client that stated that on his bakkie, the prop shaft snapped, and that caused a massive accident. And that's why they were involved, and it's actually the OEM's fault that the accident occurred. And so they said, okay, we will investigate. So investigated the crash. They saw that it happened on a straight road, so there was no corners or anything to negotiate. And then it just, you could see the vehicle veered off the road and it sort of rolled and crashed and was a serious incident. But when they pulled the data showed that the vehicle was traveling at 170 kilometers per hour before the crash, so it was obviously over the speed limit. They could see that the accelerator pedal was mostly flat on the floor, and they could see that the engine speed was relevant or relative to the vehicle speed was always linked. So when a prop shaft would snap, that's the drive to your wheels, the rear wheels on a bakkie, then you expect the engine speed to sort of jump up and go into the limiter if that really happened. But what they also saw was a cycling of the steering wheel, so left, right, with an increasing amplitude. So it clearly states that somebody was driving the vehicle excessive speed and sort of started losing control of the vehicle, eventually went off the road and the accident happened. So that was one case where it could clearly, the data showed that it was not the OEM's fault, it was actually driver error that caused it.
Sure. And I didn't even know that vehicles are able to do that if it's not like
remember also there's a legal aspect to this as well, and maybe somebody with more legal knowledge can also help with this. But what I understand is that data set actually belongs to the owner of the car. So if you're the owner of the car, you can say if that data can be extracted or not. But remember, if you're in a rental vehicle, if you're in a fleet vehicle, if it's a company car, that data set doesn't belong to you, and it can actually be pulled by the owner of the vehicle at any time during an incident. So obviously you can imagine insurance claims, all those kind of things, they would really love to know what was going on pre and post crash.
Okay. And that is quite fascinating just in terms of the car's ability to do those things. Nicol, is there anything we need to be doing in our cars or checking that our cars have?
So I think all the modern cars by default can do this. I think what will happen in the future, remember, those data set at the moment does not include, as far as I could tell, GPS data, physical location of the car, but I think that is coming. So most of the modern cars have got a SIM card anyway to be able to do like SOS calls if you're in an accident and so on. So GPS location is available. And even if your car hasn't got a GPS, we all pair it with our smartphones. Our smartphones has got GPS. So I would say this data set that I've talked about will just increase in accuracy and the number of signals. So what it's basically telling us is we need to behave. If there's an accident and we did not behave, they will see it.
All right, we're going to take a break, Nicol, and then we take all of your calls. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702 with all of your technical car questions.
After school snacks, a bag of chips or maybe some biscuits, instant noodles for lunch. Ultra-processed products such as these may be high in sugar, salt, or saturated fat. Having too much of these products could lead to diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease. Our health is in danger. We have the right to know what's in our food. Demand front of package warning labels now. Sign the petition on heala.org. HEALA.org.
What if this season wasn't about pushing through, but about letting go? At the Vineyard Hotel in Newlands, Cape Town, winter wraps the world in stillness. The air softens, the mountain slows, and you get to pause. Their Take a Breather winter special is your invitation to lean into life's quieter rhythms, misty mornings, warm meals, and time to simply be. Book by the 31st of August at vineyard.co.za and enjoy 15% off of our best available rates, including breakfast, with a minimum 2-night stay that includes a Saturday. T's and C's apply.
Dear Journal, adulting, day 3,700 and whatever. Just bought a bunch of supplements I can't pronounce to try and fix my sleep schedule. What a game changer. So chuffed I spotted them when I was doom scrolling at 11:53 p.m.
Finally learning about mental health.
Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's convenient and like 19 Rand a day, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
702.
The car feature.
10 minutes to 3 o'clock in our car feature for today. The lines are now open after we were chatting about the fact that our cars are actually probably a lot smarter than we think they are, being able to retain information and being able to also just have some kind of crash analysis. Now we take all of your technical car questions and your issues on 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Nicol Louw is here to answer. So Nicol, the first question coming through says, 702, I drive a 2018 Nissan X-Trail Auto. When in traffic, the car gears don't engage and it goes into limping mode and shows the engine light. What could it be?
Yeah, so the X-Trail, I believe, though, that model here is probably a CVT transmission, if I remember correctly, not a torque converter type, so that's your pulley type system. If it doesn't engage, obviously the CVT has got to engage, it's got a clutch that needs to engage when from stationary, and then it actually hands over sort of to the belt and pulley system. So as you said, it's happening at pull away. It sounds like it's that clutch that may be giving problems. The light on the instrument cluster says that, yeah, the system realized something is faulty and it's warning you. Limp home is a function that is sort of reducing the engine power or available engine power and helps you to protect the system and just actually helps you to get to the garage to get the problem fixed without needing a tow truck. So that vehicle really needs to be taken to a place which can investigate OBD, onboard diagnostics. So obviously Nissan will be able to do it, but the specialist service centers will also be able to do it. And if you plug in a diagnostic tool, it should be able to read the codes, also the codes from the gearbox transmission ECU, and that should pinpoint exactly what is going on there. So without knowing that code, it's a bit difficult to say because that will pinpoint the problem.
All right. The next question, thank you for that one, says, Nicol, I have a 2016 VW Golf 7. And recently I've been noticing a strange vibration when accelerating, especially at higher speeds. Could this be an issue with the transmission or something else?
So a vibration that you're feeling, I would first of all check the tires, check the tire balance as well, because that's also the easiest and cheapest to check. Also, does the vibration increase with vehicle speed or with engine speed? So if the vibration gets worse with vehicle speed, you know it must be linked to the tires or even then the CV shafts, the continuous velocity shafts, which is basically the drive shaft to the front wheels, because if they start to wear out, it will also give you vibration, but the vibration is then linked to vehicle speed. You can feel the vibrations, the frequency increases as you go faster. But if it's linked to engine speed, you can actually get those vibrations even in neutral by just revving the engine at stationary at certain RPMs. You will feel the vibration. So then it's more to do with, say, for example, engine mounts that are worn out and so on. If the vibration is only there when you touch the brakes, then it shows you there's a warped brake discs on the vehicle, on the front axle, if you can feel it through the steering wheel. So just a couple of scenarios there with vibrations and then which sort of areas to start investigating.
Okay, the next one, I own a 2019 Toyota Corolla. And I have been hearing a squealing noise coming from the front wheels when I brake. Is this something I need to be concerned about? That's from Nina.
Yeah, so if your brakes are squealing, the most horrible noise that you can hear is that metal-to-metal sound. And that's actually when your brake pads are completely finished and it's the backing plate of your brake pad pushing against the brake disc, and that's what creates the metal-to-metal sound. So that's a really horrible screeching sound that you will hear. So if you get to that stage, obviously it was time, a long time ago, for a service. So first thing, just check your front brake pads, brake discs, the wear. If that is worn out, a change will fix that. If it's just squealing in general, it might even be dust. It might even be that the brake pads that you fitted, maybe it wasn't OEM brake pads, maybe it's a different kind of brake pads, because some brake pads, especially the cheaper type of brake pads, will squeal more than the more expensive ones, I found. So in the aftermarket, then you can just change the brake pads and that should take care of the squeal. But that metal to metal is the one that was really the horrible sound that you need to be careful of.
Okay, thank you so much, Nina, for your question. Mangla from Centurion. Go ahead, Mangla.
Hi, Lebu. Yes, I'm driving this Hyundai Sonata 2.4 executive automatic. This car, when it is on P, when you pull it back on drive or reverse, it makes a huge noise. I don't know what that could be. Maybe we can help me with that.
All right, Nicol, were you able to get that?
Yes. So when you move from drive to reverse, there's a massive sound. So,
yes.
Again, that's on the Sonata, that's a torque converter type transmission. That's more your traditional type transmission. So I would take that straight to a transmission specialist to diagnose. They will give you the best advice there. It's weird that it's only from drive to reverse, because normally what a torque converter uses as a sort of a fluid coupling as the clutch, that is actually the torque converter, and if that starts wearing out, that will also give you a lot of issues on the pull away. But this sounds to me like something else that has gone faulty in the transmission. But again, a diagnostic plugged into that transmission will tell you what is wrong there. Also remember that all these transmissions, they got a service interval on oil. Many people forget that they change the engine oil, but they never ever look at transmission oil. That's obviously a cheap thing to do if you've got something wrong with the transmission. It's not smooth or anything. Look at when last did you actually change the transmission fluid?
These are questions that probably many people don't think about doing, particularly what you're saying about the transmission fluid. Nicol, that brings us to the end of our car feature for today. Nicol, chat soon.
Thank you.
Kickstart your small business with a starter bundle from Nedbank. Enjoy free transactions for 6 months, including free cash deposits and withdrawals and a free debit card with easy digital access and a dedicated banker to guide you along every step of the way. Open a Nedbank starter bundle with SA's best bank for SMEs. Apply on the Money app today. Nedbank. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Just like your last breakup, commitment is messy. Leave the chaos behind and find something new to hold on to with Rentosa. Discover subscriptions on tech, appliances, and more that will make your heart go bum, bum, bum. No red flags here, only green flags like month-to-month payments, 0 penalty fees, and the flexibility to upgrade or downgrade whenever. Not feeling the connection? No ghosting needed. Simply return it for something new that'll give you that spark you're looking for. Commitment is messy. Just Rentosa it. Download the app, visit the website, and join our WhatsApp channel.
Brush, stroke, paint, color, protect, and admire. From roof paint to exterior textures and interior silk, Warrior Paints has it all. The product range and stylish colors are amazing. And what's more, Warrior Paints has crushed prices for incredible savings. Enjoy that good old-fashioned personal service you deserve. For price, quality, variety, and service, Warrior Paints is streets ahead. Warrior Paints. Affordable, lasting luxury.
The Outsurance Pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car full of groceries and a lady who will be attempting to make her mother-in-law's famous recipe for the family dinner tonight.
5 mils of sugar.
The Outsurance Pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's butterflies and a potential bonding moment. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance Pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005, in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Relebogile is on X at Relebogile M.
Thank you so much for joining us on 702 Afternoons. I wanted to give you all an update for our Youth Month Thursday takeovers. We have received so many emails with demos And I know, obviously, we won't be able to have everybody on, but I'm so excited to be bringing some cool young people who are really passionate about radio every Thursday right here on 702 Afternoons, just to get to experience. And I hope all of you are willing and able to support them. The show's email 702afternoons@702.co.za. We are doing this for the entire month. So we are going to keep looking. We're looking for sports presenters, traffic presenters, newsreaders, and talk show hosts. This is your chance. I cannot wait to meet you, those of you that get selected, and I cannot wait for all of the listeners to get to hear you. It's 3:00.
This is EWN.
RAF board suspends CEO Letswalo and agriculture keeps the economy afloat. Good afternoon, I'm Maki Malapo. The Road Accident Fund has rescinded a decision to place Chief Executive Officer Collins Letswalo on special leave and now replaced it with a suspension. The board has today told Parliament that the about turn follows advice that the special leave decision was not legally sound. It says it's suspending Letswalo for